Hello and welcome. In this stream, I'm going to be talking about accessibility testing. To start with, what is accessibility testing? Accessibility testing is the practice of confirming that an application is usable for the vast majority of people, regardless of ability. For example, vision impairments, hearing, and cognitive abilities. So essentially, it's about making sure that your application, website, web services can be used by as many people as possible and without causing any detriment to those that may have different and varying levels of ability in those three areas. Why is accessibility testing important or of importance? One in three people have less ability in some area, which can affect their ability to interact with websites. Accessibility testing ensures that your website/services meet the minimum baseline usability requirements, which prevent your customer base from having a negative experience when interacting with your site. Not adhering to the guidelines can result in fines and penalties issued by government bodies. So the last sentence is really why it's important to businesses, because most businesses do not want to receive fines or penalties, and in in the long term, a loss of reputation if they do not implement accessibility testing into their site. What is WCAG? WCAG is an acronym which stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. WCAG is a set of guidelines that are regularly updated to ensure a site is up to standard, and they follow a set of principles known as POUR. 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 So what is POUR? It is perceivable. Information and UI components must be presentable to users in a way they can perceive. This means that users must be able to perceive the information being presented. Operable. UI components and navigations must be operable. This means that users must be able to operate the interface. Understandable. Information and the operation of user interface must be understandable. This means that the users must be able to understand the information as well as operation of the UI. Robust. Content must be robust enough that it is interpreted reliably by a wide variety of user agents, including assistive technologies. This means that users must be able to access the content as technologies advance. For example, screen reader technologies, mobile phone devices of new and older models. So just to add to this slide, the last one, robust. Technology is always moving forward. There's always the latest version of phones, tablets, and computer devices. However, we can't alienate users that might be using older technologies, such as older mobile versions or even screen reader technologies. We have to make sure that we appeal and that we're accessible to a large majority of people. Understandable as well is something I want to quickly touch on. A lot of the times in websites, we don't want to overcomplicate things. We just want to keep things in a way so that most people can use their intuition and their sort of common sense to use the platform. It shouldn't be over engineered, and it should just be understandable by um, the most, most people. Yeah. So just going to finish off with my recommendations. So the government may survey your website to test the accessibility score. If the score is low, then the government will give you an opportunity to improve your accessibility rating by a set deadline. Failure to improve the accessibility score could result in a fine or a penalty. If your website is on behalf of a large public sector or private sector company, then there is more pressure as your site will have more website traffic than a typical website. So an easy tool to use to get started is here, wave.webaim.org. It's a free tool, and it can give you a score. So just my closing thoughts. I've worked on many projects, big projects, and accessibility is very important. Um, most of the bodies that are governing this and monitoring this, they will give you a set time to improve. They will be fair. They will give you an opportunity to improve. And your score on the accessibility doesn't need to be 100%, as long as it is, I think it's around about 80 to 90%. So take it into consideration. Think about from the inception of your project, how are we going to make the design easy? How are we going to make it understandable? And how are we going to make it accessible to the most people as possible? As always, thank you for watching. I'll get back with you in a new video.